Bile. How do you farm bile? What's the most efficient way to farm bile? Here's a big thing that I gotta mention before I tell you how to farm 3 times as much. Argon crystals decay. How the argon crystal decaying mechanic works is a little bit complicated, but it's pretty simple. So at GMT 0, right? Midnight GMT, the quantity of decaying argon crystals is cut in half and rounded down, and all of the stable argon crystals that you have shift into decaying argon crystals. Let's say you farmed 30 argon crystals the day before. They're all going to turn into decaying at reset, and then the next day 15 of them are going to disappear. Instead of having your argon crystals disappear and just be used on nothing, I recommend using them for the bile 100%. For the other things, I wouldn't recommend using cryotic, diluted thermia, but a bunch of these things I wouldn't recommend using, but 100% use argon crystals first. I'd pretty much use argon crystals until they're in the red, or go back and forth, right? Use argon crystals and then use something like orokin ciphers. You get this from opening corrupted vaults or dragon, like the dragon vaults on Deimos for the orokin derelict vaults. Yes, the ones that give you corrupted mods. So if you don't already have all the corrupted mods, you should do a couple of these. 5 ciphers, a good amount though, you know what I mean? Somatic fibers. This drops from demolishers on Lua. So what you want to do is you want to do the Axie farm on Apollo. So you get Axie relics. Here, let me show you. The places I recommend to go for bile. The Void. This is where you get argon crystals. If you are using a resource drop chance booster and a resource booster, all the resources that you pick up will be doubled, and rare and uncommon resources will be more common in your mission. So you are able to get 3 times, even more than 3 times as much argon crystals and other resources too. Whenever you see a little argon crystal bundle or whatever, like on the ground, like a little mass of argon crystals, you want to break it and pick it up 100%. Whenever there's a mission in the void that's also a fissure mission, you're cracking relics while getting relics, while also potentially getting argon crystals for biles. It's a really good option to run relics whenever you see a fissure in the void. The next main thing for bile after argon crystals is going to be nav cores. You should have these. You should just have tons. Like if you don't have tons of these, then I don't know, you haven't been playing for very long. You get these from storage containers. Literally just break crates whenever you're in missions, you're killing enemies. If you use AoE weapons, you'll get lots of these all the time. You want to use argon crystals, you want to use nav cords, you want to use orokin ciphers if you have any left from running the vaults. You want to use voidgel orbs and somatic fibers. You get somatic fibers from the enemies, from the demolishers on Lua, and you get voidgel orbs from enemies on the Zaramon ship. So you want to unlock all the quests so that you have the Zaramon ship unlocked and do bounties here for those voidgel orbs. And for them somatic fibers, you want to come to Apollo and you'll be able to get Axie relics. This is the best Axie relic farm in the game. You'll be able to farm Axie relics here, get those fibers, somatic fibers, break your Axie relics here, get argon crystals and also relics back, and then you'll be able to go over here and get the voidgel orbs or whatever. You get nav cords everywhere. Some of the other resources you get from railjack. You get these from infested salvage missions on Ares, which you're not going to be doing very often, so that's a thing. Isos. This is an uncommon resource that can be found in Corpus railjack missions. The javlok capacitors. These javlok capacitors literally only drop from one enemy, the prosecutors and the Grenier shipyard tile set, and it's 100% drop chance. So if you just go to Ceres or Sedna and you do any of the missions that like extermination capture, there's so many different ones. On Sedna we have interception, hijack, and Rathum, but on Ceres we have a ton of them. So to get the javlok capacitors, you want to come to Ceres. You want to do probably like Palace and extermination, or Bode, a spy, if you want to get some mods while you're doing it, or Lex, the capture mission. By just coming here, killing the prosecutors whenever they spawn in, they will drop those javlok capacitors. You can use those to get more bile. Morphics I would keep for yourself unless you have a stupid amount of them. They're rare enough to where you don't want to waste them. So on this, thermal sludge. You can get thermal sludge all over Orb Valus from special containers located in the Corpus encampment. So all you gotta do is like you go into like those little areas where there's crates and stuff. You break all the crates with your Arcwing third ability if you're using Itzel, right? Suck up all the resources and you'll get some thermal sludge almost all the time. You go all over the place on Fortuna. You speedrun resource farm. If you guys don't know how to do that, I can show you. And you get a bunch of thermal sludge through that. Any planet with the Bile or Formorian can drop these. Diluted thermia comes from the orb Valus missions, where you're going to fight the exploiter orb. I think you get, I'm pretty sure you get them from like the pre-quest before fighting exploiter orb, or you get it from like an event or something. The event at the diluted thermia event, something like that. Anyways, yeah, I wouldn't waste it when there's all these other things you could be using. The main thing is you want to have the boosters. If you can't have the boosters, then you want to be using a warframe that is fast and a weapon that can do a big explosion AoE, so that you're breaking crates for those drops. For example, the nav coordinates, argon crystals. If you don't have any of that to do, you know, you could just do the Apollo. If you want to get those axi relics, kill the disruptors. The disruptors drop the somatic fibers. Kill the enemies on the Saruman, get those voidgel orbs, kill the enemies in the void, get the argon crystals. And yeah, another thing to mention is you want to check what you're using your bile. For example, I'm covering the screen right now and you can't really see it, so I'm gonna make myself invisible. Over here you see it says bile, right? And then when you hover over something, it tells you how much of a bar it's gonna give you for if you eat it. So I don't care about that. I have 7,000, so I can do this 695 times. Yeah, and then argon crystals, of course. I mean, I'd probably want to actually use more bile. Here's another thing that I recommend. Instead of just maxing it to 100%, never get it to 100%. You can get it up to like 70 or whatever, it doesn't matter. Just never 100, because if you put it all the way up to 100, who knows, you could have went past 100 and you're actually just wasting resources. So at this point, we don't want to add anything in, we want to use it again. So I want 15% ability strength. It doesn't cost anything to equip them, only to take them off. Okay, well that's not too bad, right? Thank you for watching till the end. I love you for making it all the way. If you have any questions about the Helminth system or anything related to bile farming or any of the stuff that I talked about today or anything at all, leave it in the comments below and I will be sure to make a video on it soon. I'm taking all requests, all of your requests. Okay, thanks for watching. I love you again, once again. And if you haven't already subscribed, what you doing, man? Come on, just give me a subscribe. It's free. You can always take it back later if you don't, if you feel like you don't want to watch my vids or be recommended me anymore. Anyway, I'm sorry. What am I talking about? Leave a like, smash that like button. Okay, outro, bro. Outro. Goodbye.